Hi everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. I should know better than to do this, but I'm going to wade into the whole what oil mixture should I run in my chainsaw, and there is no one good answer, but you need to know your saw and you need to know that it's running right. I run 80-to-1 with AMSOIL Sabre, and I'm sure I'll get some hate mail on this video about how that can't possibly be true, but it is. I've run that in all of my old home lights for over 5 years now. I certainly don't recommend that for everybody. You got to be comfortable with what you're running. But just because an old saw says 16-to-1 on the cap does not mean you need to run it at 16-to-1 on today's oil. Today's oil is better refined, less contaminants, more lubricative properties, especially when you're talking about a synthetic. So what we have here is a piston and cylinder off of a Super XL. Now there was no garbage coming in through the intake. This is on the muffler side, and it got too hot because of carbon scoring. Carbon buildup caused the scoring. These black marks, that's full of carbon. And it got so hot it melted the aluminum here and pushed this ring landing up and smashed the ring in there. So obviously compression is way down on this setup. It's hard to see with the cylinder, the lighting, it's very, very difficult, but this thing is so plugged with carbon it's not even funny. That port on the left there should easily be another 1/4 inch wider, and I don't think I can get enough light in here that you can see it. Maybe that will. If you can see that block of carbon, it's just a massive plug in there, and that's what caused this saw to get hot, overheat. The carbon kept building up, scored, melted the piston down a little bit. That's all she wrote. And that is from a saw running too rich. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the oil mixture was too thick, too heavy, but it's quite likely that it was some mix of that along with the saw not being tuned properly. A good running two-stroke engine should not be blowing a massive cloud of smoke every time you rev the saw up, and certainly it should not be blowing a cloud of smoke as you're in the cut. If it is, you are running that saw too rich, and eventually you will do damage if you keep doing it that way. A little burst of smoke when you first rev it, that's normal if it's been idling for 20 or 30 seconds, but for the most part visible smoke isn't something that you want to see. I know for a long time folks thought of a two-stroke engine the same way they thought of a diesel. The more smoke you saw pouring out of it, the better it must be doing, and that's not the case. So use a good quality oil, tune your engine, and by good quality oil there's lots out there. Steel, Husqvarna makes some good stuff. AMSOIL is good, I can tell you that from experience. But whatever the case is, protect your old saws, tune them properly, run good oil. There's not as many parts around as there used to be, and I don't want to see any more of these saws seized up than we've already seen. So do some research and get comfortable with what you're using and know your saw.